Welcome to Book 2 in the Horrors and Hoagies series, Tortured Souls. In this we will cover the second chapter. As start into this new book, we encourage you to immerse yourself in the exciting events that unfold. From thrilling action scenes to heart-pumping moments of suspense, Tortured Souls is sure to keep you on the edge of your seat. We appreciate your support and hope that you continue to enjoy the journey we have in store for you. Thank you for enjoying the story, and we look forward to sharing more with you in the upcoming chapters. Chapter 2, Aquatic Departures.
Lukeman's thralls unloaded the truck's valuable cargo onto the dune beach. Max was relieved that his exile to Egypt and Africa was finally ending. Lukeman's violent tendencies had nearly pushed him to the brink, and he was eager to leave the continent behind. He parked the truck near a desolate stretch of desert that met the ocean, marked only by a dilapidated beacon in the distance. The beacon, left behind amidst the ravages of war, presented an ideal location for the society's clandestine endeavors. Within such hidden havens, Max skillfully engaged in his craft, amassing riches and power that propelled him up the social hierarchy. Reflecting upon bygone times, he nostalgically pondered the days when the war brought a sense of clarity and objectives were unequivocal. Max previously would have employed unethical tactics such as espionage, violence, or coercion against Lukeman and his gang of criminals. Nevertheless, there was no valid reason to partner with such extremists. Presently, he opted for civilian clothing instead of his cherished grey attire. He despised every moment he had to don his civilian outfit, or monkey suit, but it served as a novel disguise. The disguise effectively concealed his unwavering allegiance to a cause that the rest of the world preferred to ignore and keep hidden. As his thoughts turned somber, Max caught sight of a solitary diver emerging from the water and heading towards the shore. The diver lit a green flare, the prearranged signal Max had anticipated. The newcomer caught the attention of the zealots, who sprang into action to transport their valuable cargo to the beach. Max retrieved his belongings from the truck and accompanied Lukeman to join the group. After being meticulously prepared and loaded, the inflatable raft had accompanied them on their journey nearly 4,000 miles from Cairo. Max had contemplated its use for some time and finally decided it was time for a dip in the water. Despite the tediousness of loading the raft, they handled it with all due haste. Once the raft was low in the water, the diver expertly guided them out into the deep blue waters of the ocean. The critical juncture of trust had arrived. A fully occupied raft, swaying amidst the tumultuous waves of shark-infested waters, posed an imminent threat to life. Venturing even a mere half-mile away from the safety of the shore would undoubtedly result in a tragic fate for any audacious individual. As they distanced themselves from the shore, the forsaken truck and solitary beacon gradually faded into the distance. Anxiety-inducing moments elapsed before the sea adjacent to them commenced its turbulent and agitated dance. The preamble was followed by the emergence of a massive steel behemoth. A commanding conning tower, trailed by the robust hull of a U-boat, ascended from the depths akin to a fearsome leviathan emerging from the ocean. It disrupted the stability of the raft, compelling its occupants to grasp it, lest they cast into the treacherous waters. The crew and officers of U-3523 emerged from the conning tower hatch and swarmed across the deck with the ferocity of an army of ants. Armed with a formidable array of Ruger's finest weapons, they wore menacing gas masks made of metal and tubes, transforming into terrifying sea monsters. The pungent scent of antiseptics and ammonia wafted from the open hatch, creating an overwhelming atmosphere. Captain Tobias Roth and his battalion, known as the Fossagrim, were infamous figures within the society. There were whispers he had become more machine than man, with each of his movements accompanied by a symphony of hydraulic hisses and mechanical sounds. His mere presence seemed to exude the scent of ammonia, further fueling the belief in his otherworldly nature. Alongside his command staff, he concealed his identity behind menacing masks that resembled sinister isopods, their tentacles extending into breathing hoses that snaked their way into oversized uniforms. Their military attire consisted of the somber hues of the German Navy, adorned with the betentacled skull emblem of the division. The sailors swiftly lifted the raft onto the ship at the captain's command, ensuring its easy dismantling. The wooden box promptly vanished beneath the ship's decks, concealed by a discreet cargo hatch. Lukeman approached Captain Roth and extended his hand in a gesture of greeting. The commander regarded Lukeman with contempt, deeming the tall sorcerer unworthy of his courtesy. A hushed conversation between them greatly infuriated the Egyptian. Suddenly, Lukeman erupted, berating the captain as a disobedient pet needing discipline.
"How dare you, Captain? We must be transported directly to New York's harbor using the quickest method. Canada isn't really unacceptable."
As Lukeman's anger intensified, the sailors instinctively reached for their weapons. In an instant, Roth swiftly commanded his crew to surround the newcomers with loaded guns. Max, not wanting to become shark bait filled with bullets, raised his hands in surrender. Lukeman, oblivious to the imminent peril he faced, persisted undeterred.
The precise prerequisites for the ceremonial rite have finally materialized. It requires 4 centuries for the celestial alignment to permit its recurrence, yet you would dare to witness its failure. How audacious of you to challenge my rightful inheritance, you a colossal heap of corroded mechanisms.
Lukeman's diatribe ceased as a jolt of excruciating agony seized him. His shoulders succumbed to the formidable grip of Roth's enhanced hand, the captain's fingers mercilessly penetrating his flesh. The captain approached Lukeman intensely, causing the officers and crew to hold their breath. The pungent smell of ammonia filled the air, intensifying as the commander expressed his anger through his mechanical breathing apparatus. Despite his low voice, Max could hear the captain's ominous words.
"No one, not even a pharaoh, is invincible."
Tobias relinquished his hold on Lukeman's shoulder and elevated his hand in a gesture. His subordinates, comprehending the purpose of the signal, swiftly directed the crew with concise instructions, prompting them to resume their tasks. Another naval officer and 2 sailors disarmed Max's team and guided them to the innermost depths of the ship. The interior of the German U-boat had undergone such a profound transformation that it left one's imagination astounded. The ship's structure had been stripped and replaced with an astonishing display of enormous sea creature skeletons, intricately adorned with pulsating and luminous runic symbols. A fusion of conventional technological craftsmanship, organic matter, and enigmatic contraptions had intertwined in a manner that defied comprehension. They ventured into the depths of this bewildering amalgamation, a nightmarish cybernetic behemoth. The customary elements one would expect to find, such as partitions, communication apparatus, and the various mechanical components facilitating the vessel's mobility, were suspended upon a vast central platform, with additional chambers affixed above and below it. The remaining expanse contains living tissue, bones, tendons, and muscular formations. The immense, fierce intensity compelled Lukeman to shudder involuntarily as its peculiar energies infiltrated the ship, crew, and occupants. A formidable power barely restrained by Roth's crew. Max had already been aware that maneuvering a German U-boat into one of the most prominent harbors in the United States was an unattainable feat. The Americans would swiftly detect your presence, ruthlessly attack you, and consume you. Opting for Canada was a strategic decision. The organization maintained connections across southern Ontario and conducted illicit transportation throughout the Great Lakes region. It is likely that the objective involved smuggling the goods across the Canadian border and discreetly infiltrating the bustling urban center among the constant flow of commuters. Max grinned as he was thrust into a secured bunk area with Lukeman. At least Lukeman wasn't smiling anymore.